ring?
I feel like it'll be a little entertaining. I don't know how long he's gonna last in with these big shots coming at him, but hey, only time will tell. You know, I'm not here to hype that shit. Not even my business. That's somebody else fish to fry.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own fish to fry.
Terence Crawford is not going to do anything to Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford, yes, he's good. He's a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he couldn't even hurt Majimov.
Is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills.
Jello breaks down why he believes Canelo will beat Terence Crawford. He explains that the key factor is how long Crawford can withstand the heavy shots coming his way. Charlo points out that Crawford is already moving up in weight classes to face Canelo, which makes the challenge even tougher. According to him, the fight will come down to how well Crawford manages Canelo's strength and pressure over the course of the bout. Analysts argue that Terence could not seriously hurt Majimov, who is not even close to Canelo's level. While Crawford's shown against Errol Spence, the challenge is completely different. Canelo is a legendary fighter, more active in recent years and also younger, making him a tougher and greater opponent for both.
10-0. They never got in the ring with anything like a Terence Crawford. They never got in the ring with a former champion, with an elite fighter. And he couldn't hurt. He couldn't hurt Majimov. Canelo Alvarez is no Earl Spence, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of y'all are hyped because what Terence Crawford did an incredible performance and an incredible job versus Earl the True Spence that was supposed to be the big fish, that he turned the big fish into tuna fish on your outline, on your local supermarket. But Canelo Alvarez is not Earl Spence, my brothers. Canelo Alvarez is not Amir Khan. Canelo Alvarez is not Kelbrook. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa. Canelo Alvarez is not Felix Diaz. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys. Canelo Alvarez is not the mean machine. Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, regarded as one of the greats, and not just the Mexican greats. I don't like how y'all like try to put it. Oh no, he's the best Mexican, because you don't want to say that he's one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Has carried the sport of boxing on his shoulder. And let me say it like this: leading up to the fight, Canelo Alvarez is more active than Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Terence Crawford. He's younger than Terence Crawford. He's more active than Terence Crawford. His resume is better than Terence Crawford. The people that he's fought is better than Terence Crawford. He's fought every damn style. He's fought the best Russians at the time with Kovalev. He fought the best Asian in Kazakhstan and Triple G.
El Brook explains that he favors Canelo Alvarez in a matchup with Terence Crawford because Canelo is a completely different type of fighter compared to anyone Crawford has ever faced. Brook highlights that while Crawford's victory over Errol Spence was impressive, it does not prepare him for what Canelo brings to the table. Canelo's strength, experience, and ability to control fights at higher weight classes set him apart from Spence and others.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's going to have to, move up. And, I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight. A mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe outmoving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Analysts are stressing that Terence Crawford may simply be too small to hurt Canelo Alvarez effectively, since he is jumping up nearly 3 weight classes with limited experience at 154. They compare this to Floyd Mayweather, who fought multiple elite names before facing Canelo, while Crawford has only fought Madrimov at that level. Gabe Rosado adds that when fighters are used to opponents with real power at higher weights, the shots from smaller divisions do not carry the same effect, which raises questions about how
I think that Crawford may be too small to really impact and hurt Canelo Alvarez. He's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes, which is exactly what I said. I'm not counting 154. He had 1 fight, bro. He had 1 fight. Floyd Mayweather got more fights at 54 than Terence Crawford. Boop. Because Crawford, he fought Madrimov. Floyd fought De La Hoya, Cotto, and then he fought Canelo at 152. So you had an aging Floyd who fought more times at the higher weight class, and Bud looks to be a bigger dude than Floyd Mayweather, right? So when Floyd was 37, he moved to 52 and fought a much bigger Canelo. Crawford's 37, he fighting Madrimov with 11 fights. Not the same. It's not. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Bud Buddy's just going to have to be mad at me because truth is truth. So that's a valid question. And again, I'll be glad when this fight's over. Put it that way. I don't care who wins. May the best man win. I hope it's a double knockout. I already told y'all. Just because I'm just over it, and I want to get back to some of the other fights. There's other fights that are interesting, and they make more sense. Like Brian Norman, Devin Haney. I'm interested in Yard versus Benavidez, etc. There's some fights we're hearing about, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be glad when this is over. To be 100% honest, there's more fights that actually fans have been requesting that matter, blah, blah, blah. But Rosado, he brought up a lot of good points. He was saying Crawford, he thinks he's too small, and he even gave his own personal experience. He said, I'm 180, 190 solid, and when I fight guys that are welterweights, even if they crack and they're known for being menacing, murderous punchers at the lower weight classes, 140, 147, them moving up, it feel like pillows when they fight me. When I get hit with their punches, it feel like pillows because I'm used to getting hit by triple, right? He used to Triple G work. He used to Lemieux work. So to me, this is kind of common sense, but common sense ain't that common, right?
Analysts have continued to emphasize one of the most important factors in a matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The key question is whether Crawford can take Canelo's punches and absorb the type of power that has stopped or slowed down many opponents before him. While some fighters believe Canelo looks flat-footed and easier to deal with, experts explain that this is deceptive. His style is deliberate, based on balance, timing, and efficiency. By planting his feet and relying on the fundamentals, Canelo ensures that every shot carries maximum power. This is the challenge Crawford faces.
Is Crawford gonna be able to take Canelo's punches? And is Canelo gonna be skilled enough to not keep on getting banged up by Crawford and his craftiness? It's the battle of two greats, you know what I mean? So I believe that Canelo, you really see him, when you see him fight, he almost got a one-way style, and it works for him. He likes to get in there and bang you up. He likes to throw hard punches. He likes to break you down. He likes to hit you everywhere. You're gonna hit in your body, your arms, the forehead, the ear, the neck. Wherever he can land a good one, he's gonna land it, and that usually breaks him down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you got to realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. He understands, and he's perfected at rolling with the punch thing.
The night Crawford faced Errol Spence is remembered as one of the most complete and dominant performances in boxing history. Crawford showcased every aspect of his skill set: speed, accuracy, timing, defense, and finishing ability. He broke down a fighter who was previously considered one of the best welterweights in the world and made it look effortless. For many, it was the night Crawford secured his place as one of the greatest fighters of this generation. Now, his training partners are insisting that he looks even better than he did during that fight. They note that his speed has remained sharp, his reflexes are still intact, and his conditioning is at its peak.
Sharper than ever, more dangerous than ever, and most importantly, he looks like the greatest version of himself. Now, can we actually believe this? Can Terence Crawford at nearly 39 years old, with him being inactive, with him being heavier than ever, is it possible that the man will actually look better than ever? Now, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about someone like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez, you're talking about the elite of the elite. And if I'm going to be honest, Terence Crawford, when he fought Errol Spence, in my opinion, in all my years of watching combat sports, I'm a MMA guy turned into boxing. But I have never, ever, ever in my life watched an elite championship fight and had my jaw absolutely drop to the floor with the greatness that I witnessed. And that is the only way to describe what Terence Crawford did versus Errol Spence. In my opinion, that was the greatest performance in our lifetime. I mean, I can't go back to the old days. I'm not a historian. But as far as I'm concerned, that was the greatest performance I have ever seen in my life. And especially to who he did it to. Errol Spence, dangerous southpaw. At the time, I believe he was pound for pound number 3. And Terence Crawford absolutely annihilated him.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavic offered strategic insight on how Crawford could beat Canelo. His advice centers on the early rounds. According to Pavic, Crawford cannot allow Canelo to control the tempo. Instead, he must use his footwork, combinations, and ring intelligence to force Canelo into working harder than usual. The strategy is simple. If Crawford can push Canelo to throw more punches, move his feet, and chase the fight, he can sap the Mexican champion's energy reserves. Canelo has shown signs of slowing down in the later rounds of long battles.
Stay in Canelo's ass a little early on. Put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds. Because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance-wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on, you know, the early rounds and make him have to play catch-up in the rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, that's where, you know, he could really step it up.
Dan Rafael made an important observation when comparing the experiences of both fighters. He explained that Canelo has already fought and absorbed punches from fighters who came up from lighter divisions. Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto are examples of opponents who were naturally smaller, yet challenged him at higher weights. Canelo not only fought them, but also adapted to their speed and timing, proving he could handle shots from smaller men. In contrast, Crawford has not yet faced a naturally bigger opponent with the same level of physicality that Canelo brings. While Crawford is dominated across multiple divisions, the step up to face someone who is truly at home at higher weights is a different test altogether.
Dan Rafael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes, because he said if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package. It's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So, and it was good. It was a very good point. He was like, Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the best part of a decade.
Basically.
He's so used to taking those shots. Whereas Crawford hasn't. Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
what's Crawford going to be like? So basically, trying to say Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
If you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergei Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
Not even getting wobbled.
Not even getting wobbled, just literally shaking it off.
Yeah.
You can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
Right.
Mikey Garcia has been very straightforward in his prediction. He believes Canelo can seriously hurt Terence Crawford. Garcia argues that while Crawford is extremely skilled, his defensive abilities might not be enough to neutralize the sheer force of Canelo's punches. Garcia highlighted the body shots in particular, explaining that Canelo's ability to wear down opponents with hooks to the ribs and uppercuts to the midsection is one of his most devastating tools. According to Garcia, Crawford is a brilliant technician, but brilliance only goes so far when faced with raw power at a higher weight. He sees the fight as extremely dangerous for Crawford, because once Canelo starts connecting with meaningful punches, it could change the momentum instantly.
What happens when he takes a shot from Canelo? One of those uppercuts from Munguia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing. And goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect a fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
But you think Canelo could hurt him? It could be life-changing?
Good, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detached retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure. Give him all the fucking props in the world, bro. And he actually does have a chance. It's not like he doesn't have a chance. Don't be too surprised if he fucking pulls it off in the decision.
Antonio took a more optimistic view of Crawford's chances by focusing on his mental preparation. He explained that Crawford is known for visualizing his fights long before stepping into the ring. This means he already has an understanding of what challenges Canelo presents and has mentally rehearsed how to deal with them. According to Antonio, Crawford's strength lies in his adaptability and intelligence. He has never relied only on physical advantages, but has instead built his career around adjusting to opponents, breaking them down, and imposing his own rhythm. In his view, this fight will not come down to weight classes, but to skill sets.
Terence got to be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't gonna make the difference. It ain't gonna be the weight. It's gonna be the skill set.
That's it for today's video. Stay